Today we are going to talk about simplifying algebraic expressions. First thing, some vocab that we need to know. When addition or subtraction signs separate an algebraic expression into parts, each part is called a term. We need to recall that a numerical factor of a term that contains a variable is called the coefficient of the variable. So our coefficient is the number in front of our variable. Like terms contain the same variable to the same power. And a term without a variable is called our constants, or our numbers. So first, what we are going to do is we are going to identify terms, like terms, coefficients, and constants. So in letter A, we have 9y minus 4 minus 11y plus 7. So first, I need to identify what are the terms. As we recall from above, a term is when addition or subtraction signs separate an algebraic expression into parts. So it's every part of our expression. So our terms in letter A would be 9y, negative 4, negative 11y, and 7. The reason why I made 4 and 11y negative is because they have a subtraction sign in front of them, and that subtraction sign needs to go along with the term. Okay, next we're going to determine our like terms. As we recall above, like terms contain the same variable to the same power. So we need to make sure our variable is the same and it's to the same power. So in letter A, our like terms would be 9y and negative 11y, because they both have a y to the first power. And then our another set of like terms would be negative 4 and 7. They are both constants, which are also like terms. Okay, the next thing is coefficients. Coefficients, again, is the number in front of a variable. So our coefficients would be 9 and 11y. Again, our 11 is negative because we have that subtraction sign in front of it, and the subtraction sign has to go with it. And then lastly, our constants. And constants are a term without a variable. So constants are just our numbers, our integers. So our constants here would be negative 4 and 7. Okay? The next concept that we went over is simplifying algebraic expressions. An algebraic expression is in simplest form if it has no like terms and no parentheses. So we have to make sure all of our terms do not have a matching variable to the same power, that we cannot combine them any farther. So if we turn over to the next page and we look at example C. Okay, we have 4z minus z. When I look at these two terms, I realize they both have a z to the first power. So I know that I can combine them. All right? Whenever I am giving a variable, I know that my coefficient in front of it is 1. So now I have 4z minus 1z. I take my 4z's, I might subtract 1 away from it, I'm left with 3z. Okay? Example D, I have 6 minus 3n plus 3n. Again, I ask myself, do I have any like terms? Do I have any terms that are the same variable to the same power, or do I have constants I can combine? Well, when I look at letter D, I have a negative 3n and I have a positive 3n. I know I can combine those terms because they are both n to the first power. So negative 3n plus positive 3n, 3 negatives, 3 positives together, that makes a 0 pair. We have nothing left. They cancel out. So I'm left with 6. I know it's in simplest form because I have nothing to combine to 6. Next, on example E, I have 2g minus 3 plus 11 minus 8g. Again, I ask myself, do I have like terms? What are my like terms? Do I have coefficients that have the same variable to the same power? Do I have constants I can combine? When I look at letter E, I start on my left, I have a 2g. I also have a negative 8g. I can combine my g's together because they are a g to the first power. So I have 2 positives, 8 negatives. I make my 0 pairs. I have 6 negative g's left. Then I look at what I have left in my expression. I have negative 3 plus positive 11. So they are both constants, so I know I can combine them. So I have 3 negatives, 11 positives. After I make my 0 pairs, I'm left with 8 positives. Once I have simplified my first expression, I look at my next expression. Now I have negative 6g plus 8 I ask myself, do I have common terms? Do I have like terms here? When I look at it, my first term has a g, my second doesn't have a variable, so I cannot combine them. This is in simplest form. Okay, the next concept that we went over is we're simplifying expressions and then filling them in with values that we know. So on letter F is a continuation on from example 4. It says write an expression in simplest form for the cost of a jacket in example 4. If the markup is 8%, then determine the total cost after the markup. So in example 4, it told us that our expression was j plus 5/100 j. So that was a 5% markup. I now wanted an 8%. So I have j, the price of the jacket, plus now I'm doing an 8% markup times the price of the jacket. First, it asked me to write this expression in simplest form. So I need to ask myself, do I have like terms? Do I have terms with the same variable to the same power, or do I have constants? When I look at this problem, I see I have a j and a j. I can combine those. I now have 1 8/100 j. After I've simplified my expression, then it asked me to determine the cost after the markup. So it told me the original cost was $35. I'm going to put 35 in for j and then simplify. So 1 8/100 times 35 simplifies to 37 8/10, and my final answer would be $37.80. Remember, you have to label where labels are due. Okay, the next problem we went over is if we look at letter G. Now we need to write the expression and simplify it. You have some money, your friend has $50 less than you. Write an expression in simplest form that represents the total amount of money you and your friend have. So first we have to determine our variable here. What don't we know? Well, we don't know how much money you have. We just know you have some money. So I'm going to make you X. Now it tells us your friend has $50 less than you. So now I need to write an expression for your friend. And again, I know that your friend is $50 less than you. And we said you represented X. So we're going to take X minus 50. How much you have, subtract $50 from that. Now we need to write the expression in simplest form to represent the total amount. The total amount is how much do they have together. So I need to add these two expressions. So I have you plus your friend. And now I need to ask myself again, do I have like terms? Do I have variables to the same power? Do I have constants I can simplify together? Well, I have an x and an x. And we know when we just have a variable, our coefficient is 1. So 1x plus 1x is 2x. I bring down my minus 50. And then I look at my new expression. Can I simplify this any farther? Well, I have a 2x and I have a 50. I cannot. I have a coefficient and a constant. You can't simplify those together.